In this video, I'm going to share with you guys 5 mistakes that so many players make in Rainbow Six Siege. Mostly beginners, but veterans you too. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm Pastry, and welcome to the new series on my channel, which I'm calling Beginner Mistakes, where I explain the many mistakes newer players, believe me, even veterans, make to help those that are stuck in the steep learning curve of Siege. Now, if any of you more experienced players out there have some tips that you wish you knew as a new Siege player, drop them in the comments below. This will not only help more people that watch this video, but also give me tips that I might not have thought of to put in future episodes. So how about we get right into these mistakes, starting with the first one, which is not droning yourself into the building. This is just a huge mistake I see a lot of people do. They just break the barricade, walk in, and die. The thing is, with that death, you could have completely avoided it by simply using a drone to drone yourself in the building. Yeah, I know it takes time and it's just so much easier to face check, but why would you face check and risk your life when you can easily get that info with the 2 drones you get as an attacker? The one good thing with this mistake is that it's really simple to fix. And yeah, this sounds redundant, but one of the easiest fixes is to just drone before you enter. Generally, you would want to break the barricade first and then send the drone in. And the reason why you want to do this is because you want to be able to act upon the intel. If you just send your drone in and not break the barricade, if that drone gets destroyed, you really can't do anything. You have to send another drone in. And if you don't have another one, you're kind of screwed. The real key to droning is to just not drone too far in front of you, and that definitely applies here. Now, I will say there are some instances where you have to drone far and check more rooms to be completely sure that's safe before you enter, but that really bleeds into another mistake for another day, so we'll talk about that another time. General rule, just stay close to your drone. Now, that's one really easy way to fix the mistake, but there is one other way that I really recommend, and that is pre-placing the drones before you enter the building. Now, what I mean by pre-placing drones is that in the prep phase, instead of wasting your drone just driving into objective or just scanning defenders, you can instead save that drone and place that in the corner of a room that you plan on entering. And this does 3 good things for you. The first one is obviously not wasting your drone, and you can end up using that throughout the round and get you a lot more intel. Second reason is that in the prep phase, you'll see if anyone enters that room, so you can see if any roamers end up, and based upon that intel, you can bail on that plan, or you can attack them because you know exactly where they will be. And the third reason is that when you're ready to enter, you could just hop in your drone and check the room quickly. It won't take that long, which I know is probably a big reason people don't drone, is because it takes a lot of time. But when it comes to pre-placing drones, you can have it there, quickly hop on it, take a few seconds to scan, and then you're ready to enter, and you can completely avoid that death. And now moving on to the second mistake, which is one I see a lot of beginners make, and that is not being prepared for a gunfight. If you're not prepared for a gunfight and don't expect one, you're going to lose 10 out of 10 times. Actually, it's not really true, there's a lot of bots out there, but you get the point. And there's one really simple fix to this, which is honestly what I could have called this tip, ADSing more. If you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee that you're not ADSing enough. I don't care if you have angled grip, you will win way more gunfights being ADS'd and ready for a gunfight than trying to quickscope somebody. One side note, it wouldn't be an EP video without me talking about crosshair placement, so to be prepared for a gunfight when you're ADSing more, focus on that crosshair placement, please. Thank you. So I said there's one really easy fix, but I kinda lied. There's some more. I just talked about crosshair placement, head level, you guys understand that. But one more tip to help you be more prepared in a gunfight or win these gunfights is something that's kind of hard to explain, but I'll try anyways, which is not going through the motions. You always want to expect someone to be there. Because the thing is, if you don't have your finger on the trigger every time you check a corner, ready to pull, believe me, you'll understand if this has happened to you. And I know this has happened to me a ton, where I just check a corner and I'm not prepared for someone to be there and they end up killing me because I'm not ready. One way to kind of summarize this is don't aim down sights and check corners just to do it. You have to be prepared for someone to actually be there. If you guys are enjoying the content, dropping a like and subscribing would be really helpful. Thank you. Sorry for that. Now moving on to the next mistake that I see, which is honestly one that I see a lot more veterans making than beginners, that being slow peeking. To really understand why this is a big mistake, you have to think about perspective. The thing is, when you're peeking out slowly, the enemies will be able to see your body and head before you can see them. You don't see from the edge of your hitbox, you see from the middle of your hitbox. And another thing when it comes to slow peeking is that you're completely getting rid of your peeker's advantage when you slow peek. And if you're, say, alt-locking and peeking, you're giving your defenders even more time to react and get the headshot. I guarantee if you're alt walking and peeking, you're going to be dead before you even see the enemy. But like the other ones, there's a fairly easy fix to this, and that really easy fix is a mechanic. I've talked about this before on this channel, and that is quick peeking. If you don't know what it is, it's basically leaning into a corner and back so that you don't expose your body a ton. I talked about it in my warm-up video, but if you guys want me to make a complete guide on how to quick peek on console and PC, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to make that. And while learning this mechanic will really help you, sometimes you don't even need to. Just as long as you're not walking into a peek or alt walking and exposing yourself for a long time, you should be okay. Now, one last little solution tip thing I don't even know that I feel kind of obligated to share is that when it comes to peeking into rooms from a hallway, the key is to not quickly peek the whole room, it's to take it chunk by chunk and quick peek chunk by chunk. I'll probably throw an example on screen, maybe it'll be from Coastline, I'm not really sure yet, but hopefully the demonstration I throw up there will help you a little bit more so that you understand how you should kind of quick peek in those situations. Now we're on the fourth mistake, which is probably one that's geared more towards the players that watch Siege content and kind of understand the basics, but don't play at a high enough level to really understand it. And that mistake is deep roaming. Now, not all deep roaming is bad. I'm basically talking about a certain type of deep roaming, which is running way off site, hiding in a corner, and then hopefully sometime, after a minute or two, running back to site and going for a late flank. And the reason I think this is a really big mistake is that it really kind of works. Especially at the lower ranks, you can definitely get away with this, and it will actually probably lead to you getting more kills. The reason why I'm putting it here as a mistake is because it just builds bad habits. You have to realize that there's always a high reward for this flank. If you pull it off, you end up getting like 2-3 kills and end up probably saving the round. But the thing is that risk increases as competition gets better. Once you finally play a good enough team that actually knows how to drone, knows how to watch their flanks, maybe just plays nomad or gridlock, you're actually screwed. You're actually never going to be able to pull this off against these players. And just to prove my point, I'm going to give you a quick scenario. So you're playing Vigil, and you decide to go way off site and hide in a corner. You, being a Vigil, don't really bring any utility that actually helps out the team, so you're not helping your team at all there. You sit in this corner for 2 minutes, not even using your ability because it'll probably hurt you more than help you, and then after those 2 minutes you come back to site, someone hears you, and you're dead. You just did absolutely nothing to help your team that round. You would have probably done more if you anchored or maybe even roamed and died in the first minute or so. This isn't how you want to roam. The key to roaming is to play in highly trafficked areas and be encountered. You want to waste the defender's time. You want to be a nuisance. Be that thorn in the defender's side. Attackers, not defenders. You literally never see anyone in Pro League sitting in a corner and waiting to late flank, because it doesn't work. I know they're playing a completely different game than us, but you get the point. If you roam like I talked about earlier, and maybe you pick a wrong spot, then you could simply go back to site. You don't have to go for that flank, because you're going to die more times than actually pull off that flank. Sorry for that one. As you can tell, I don't like the late flank at all. And now the last mistake. This is honestly one that I could have picked a lot of different things that are kind of related to this, but I chose to tackle this one idea, that being overusing barricades. If you don't know, beginners in this game think these things are literally OP and use them to barricade themselves up in sight to make sure the attackers can't see them and have to make sound to actually get inside the site. But that's not really how you should use barricades. The keys to using barricades is to keep in mind the defensive rotation, especially when it comes to roamers. Don't worry if you don't understand that, I'll explain it. You don't necessarily want to use barricades on OBJ doors because it will cut off rotation for those roamers trying to get back to site. Instead, you want to use the barricades to stop attackers from getting these angles to cut off rotation back to site, or between sites. That also might sound confusing, but I'll throw an example in here. Think about Bank. If you're playing second floor on Bank, you need to barricade CEO windows. It's CEO, right? Or Banana, whatever. You can know what I'm talking about. The reason you want to barricade those windows, and this is the reason why some people play Castle on the site, is so that the attackers can't play on garage tops and sit up there and cut off rotation between CEO and the sites. And when that happens, as an anchor, you're kind of stuck more on the closet side of site. So that's really what you want to use barricades for, but one other helpful thing with the barricades is the sound cue it gives. If that barricade is still closed, you know it's safe to rotate. but if those barricades are opened and you hear the sound cues, you know that you can't rotate. Or if you do, you have to be like extremely careful. So that's really the gist of barricades, but if you're really not sure where you should place them, while they're useful, I'd recommend just probably not placing them. And those are my 5 mistakes I see players make all the time, and how to fix them. Now if you're interested in learning more about Siege, I'm probably going to start posting daily Siege tips on Instagram and Twitter about the nuances of Siege, from Velcam spots to gameplay tips to random operating mechanics. I got it all, so be sure to follow me on those platforms if you're interested. I could even turn to another series here on YouTube, so maybe stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time. Peace.